Back with me is Jesse Weber, prosecutor Dave Ehrenberg, and of course, Ashley Banfield, host of Banfield. All right, Ashley, look, you've been on this story like nobody else. There's a lot of finger pointing going on here. Is it clear that the defense did something wrong?
First rule of Fight Club, don't surprise the judge. This is just, again, I will defer to the three of you because you are all three so much smarter at jurisprudence than I am. But one thing I do know, you don't screw around in a death penalty case and do secret surveys without alerting the judge about what you're doing, especially when there's an extreme gag order in the case. And my message to Ms. Taylor, the defense attorney, is you don't get it both ways. If you want a gag order in a case, then you can't disseminate information. I don't think she has a sinister intention here. I think she was truly trying to gather information rather than disseminate. But guess what? The dissemination happened in a severe gag order case, and it happened behind the judge's back. So I think everything that went on in this hearing was completely appropriate.
So, Dave, the judge is irritated. The prosecutors are irritated. The defense attorney's sort of apologetic. What happens now?
What happens now is that the case stays where it is. And she was trying to get the case moved by showing that the jurors are biased, right? And what is she doing? Biasing the jurors. It's like the kid who kills both his parents and asks for mercy from the court because he's an orphan. You're the one doing this, dude.
Yeah.
And when you have a small community like Leyte, a 400-person survey that's a misleading survey is going to have a difference. You can see why the judge was upset.
But that's my question now. Is the jury pool tainted? Are they poisoned? Are they affected? Can the judge come back and say, listen, this was wrong. If you're going to have a survey, it should have been alerted. And by the way, if you're going to have a survey, you don't ask such specific questions about the knife sheath. You poisoned it. I don't know what to do. My hands are tied. Now we have to move the trial.
But then she wins by
yes, she wins. I get it. But at the same time, this is a practical reality.
But why shouldn't the case have been moved anyway? I mean, look, if there's ever been a case for a change of venue, it seems to me it's this one. The argument on the other side is, well, it's not like you're going to be able to go to a nearby county and people won't have heard about it. But look, you know this case so well. There is something different, isn't there, in this community about how personal this case has become?
Sure. And I for 36 years, I've been doing this job. And if you asked me this question a decade ago or 2 decades ago, I'd have had a different answer because of this. Nowadays, I feel like there is really no jurisdiction that you can escape if you want to get a jury that doesn't know much about a case or feel a certain way about the case. Because if you just sample people online about this case, they're as angry in Timbuktu as they are in Moscow. So go ahead, move the case. You know, will you get the same effect as Scott Peterson? I don't know. But they've tried changing the jurors for Lori Vallow. Didn't help her. I just don't think jurisdiction anymore is going to really be a big deal, given the fact that the world is flat when it comes to data.
I agree with that. Yeah. But I also think that as a precaution, they should still move the case.
So I was always I agree with Ashley in the sense that, you know, I think that everybody knows about this. The difference is with this case, even how personal is, even when they were going to schedule the trial, they were considering, well, we don't want to have it during class session. We want to have it in the summer because they don't want students to be around this. They don't want them to experience this. There's something so intimate about this case and the death of these 4 individuals that it is a little bit different in this community as to oppose, I don't know, a Derek Chauvin case. Obviously, that affected the community, but this one feels like it actually has an impact and affects people's lives on a daily basis.
I thought they should move the case until they pulled this stunt. And it's not that you have to...
So they should be punished now? A death penalty defendant gets punished because their lawyer hired some social psychologist who screwed up?
Who misled the potential jury pool, and as a result, they get exactly what they want. You don't need to find jurors that are empty vessels.
Right.
They can know about the case. You just have to find jurors who are willing to set aside their biases. And it's my experience that you can do that in every high-profile case.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I always say that about high-profile cases, is that people say, oh, you can never find a jury. And I always say, well, you know what? Believe it or not, after the O.J. Simpson criminal case, they found a civil jury. And I remember sitting through jury selection in that case, watching, the jurors, they knew, yes, I know broadly about the case. I didn't follow the details. You know why? Because I had to work every day. You know, I think we sometimes in the media overstate how closely people are following cases, you know, unless you happen to watch Ashley Banfield's show every night.
But now they don't have to, because now they're like, wait, knife sheath and all these specific details that they might not have known until this survey.
Until the survey of calling them and then saying, oh, anyway. All right. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.